Hey, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Startup Voyage, where we dive into the future of learning with academic labs, where AI meets blockchain in education. Now, the problem, traditionally, education systems often lag in leveraging technology, leaving gaps in practical knowledge and sharing and valuation. Now, Academics Labs introduces a groundbreaking approach combining adaptive AI with Web3 to revolutionize learning. This platform uses learner NFTs and AAX tokens to create a dynamic, engaging, and secure learning environment, which addresses credential fraud, enhances learner engagement, and establishes a transparent course pricing model. Who do we have today? Well, we've got the founder and CEO, Terry Tan, and then we've got Kenneth Keck, which is the Director of Partnerships, and Ryan Chi, Head of Blockchain Marketing and Listing. Welcome to the podcast, everyone.
Hello. Nice to meet everyone.
Yep.
Yes.
Great. So I just want to get started. Maybe you can explain, one of you, and you guys choose who wants to talk. If you explain academics labs to people, you go to a conference. What is the elevator pitch? What do you tell people?
Maybe I can just kick off first. So basically, when we meet anyone, we will say that we are actually the first most integrated Web3 AI education platform, tokenized education platform, that we actually allow learners to get incentivized with NFTs and tokens, and also creating NFT for content creators. So that alone, the elevator pitch is very unique and also differentiated from the rest of the Web2 and current competitors.
Any one of you, Ryan or Kenneth, you want to add something a little bit different? Because I know, Kenneth, you talk to a lot of partnerships, so maybe the story might be a little bit different.
Yeah, I think adding on to what Terry mentioned, I think it's beyond just the tokens or the tokenomics of it, but as an education project in the Web3 space, that is a rarity in itself. So what I like to present to everyone is like in terms of Web3, we want to pioneers for this education, and I think we do it more systematically and dynamically with bite-sized learning, foundational learning as you build up towards a more higher level approach to target the rest of the demographic. So the pitch is to both bring in the Web3 users who are currently part of the enablers of our community, but also beyond that, to give the Web2 users a bit more perspective on what Web3 is about and how you can enhance your skills in this space.
Okay, so tell me a little bit more about how do you guys curate the content on your platform? Like who provides it, and how do you qualify the type of information that goes into your system?
Yeah, so I guess currently we just launched the MVP just a couple of weeks ago, so the platform content library is definitely a bit small. We have about 20 odd videos that primarily is done by ourselves. So we have created the content ourselves with some partners that are knowledgeable in the Web3 space. But as we grow, I think we are working with several partners to develop a better in-depth content on that, and also to work with certain freelancers that want to come on the platforms to provide a more engaging content. I think in terms of methodology to how we kind of look at the content and view it is obviously first, the content has to be somewhat factual, and secondly, obviously the content has to have some depth. I believe it can be just very touching on superficial topics or just throwing a bit of jargon around, and I think thirdly is the engagement level in terms of knowing the audience. So you have to have certain expectations of setting the content. If you are targeting a certain set of demographics, then the content should be created to that specific set of audiences.
So
Yeah, I think, just to add up, I think for lots of startups, there could be a problem of like a chicken and egg when you're trying to create user-generated content, right? Like if you don't get content, you don't get users, or like if you don't get users, the content creators will go on board. So what we do is actually we invest a lot on, particularly on creating really good content that the users want to see. And therefore, we can see that the users really love our content. I think until now, our MP launched for around 4 weeks. We got around, I would say around, 100,000 quizzes being completed. So we're doing the content that the user really like. And once we prove that the users really like our content, I think it'll be way easier for the content creators to really want to come on board and teach here. So that could be the incentive here. And I think just add up to what Ken said just now. I think one important part that we are trying to highlight to all educators on board is the utility. Really, we want the users to really have some takeaways from here. So after they learn our platform, the next second, the next hour, the next week, they can start generating some income or some kind of progress we will learn on our platform. So that kind of actual incentive is what I think most educational platform, not only in Web3 space, but for both Web3 and Web2 product will need. So one of the most viewed course in our platform, like people really like it, is called, I think, Web3 English. So we offer this for free to test out. It got around 10,000 views on YouTube and around, I think, 200 subscription on our platform. And the reason that is so good is because it actually teaches people how to explain a Web3 concept to someone else's. So after the users learn this, they can actually introduce this. What Web3 projects are they doing? Why are they investing in this? They can actually start doing something, make some progress. And this is something that's so valuable for the users because they can effectively turn what they learn into something that generates value. So I would say that's already a key strategy there.
So current educational landscape, if we look at many online courses today, you've got video, you've got some audio, sometimes you got some downloads, you can do some homework. And I guess there's a grading system and, things like this. So, those type of platforms are quite traditional and, provided by some level of expert. And yours, you're getting a lot of people into your platform completely new. Do you have a good feedback system to help improve it? Because it's still quite early in the Web3 space.
Yeah, so I think we definitely get feedback to the audience or channels. We do have partners in specific countries that we work with, the help channel, the brand promotion of it, obviously, and they control certain demographics of the users that they bring in. So they do kind of like a weekly or bi-weekly consolidation of certain sort of considerations that we have to take into view, and then as you develop platform further, then those will be addressed in accordance as well.
So looking at your platform, can you explain to me the use of AI and blockchain? I mean, as I mentioned, these other current applications, they don't use AI or blockchain. So how does that get featured into your platform?
Yeah, I guess I'll touch on the AI element, and I think Ryan, perhaps you want to touch a bit more on the blockchain aspect of it. And,
Of course.
So I think in terms of AI, Arthur, like you mentioned earlier, at the beginning of our introduction, we use kind of adaptive AI, and I think that translates into two ways. One is for the mapping of a user journey, and when I say that, it kind of like covers the taxonomy of the content. So it goes through, curates the library of content, and then it builds up into certain levels. I think it's up to level 7 of the difficulty or depth of the content that you're going out for, and across topics. And as a learner come in to say that, okay, today I want to expedite my learning journey into today I'm a junior developer, I want to grow up to be a senior developer, but I want to expedite that within the next 1 to 2 years. Then how should I go about doing that, or which courses should I take? And through the AI models that we have run, then it will allow you to be able to kind of match certain courses that you should be taking, and give you a bit more sense of where you should be attaining, or what level of competency you should be getting in terms of getting the next step. So that's one aspect of the AI. I think the other one, which we are also working on potentially, is more of a generation of ideas or quizzes on the content itself. So if I'm a creator today, instead of coming to come up create or curate certain quizzes myself. I can use the AI to generate based on scouring through my content. They can come up with certain ideas or concepts to test the audience on. So I think in two ways, it helps the user as well as fundamentally assists the creator as well.
So you're saying you're using adaptive AI learning, I guess, along the way as students are going through your course. I mean, how is the language model that's being used? Is that how is that being curated, or are you leveraging some other database to have a start?
Yeah, so we're working with a relevant tech partner. I think we'll share that in due course. And obviously they have been in the space for a couple of years. And obviously they've done and tested that algorithm models with one or two large corporates in Singapore. They're working with one fairly big large institute. I can't share the name, but they've done it, and I think we trust them to be able to develop it further.
Okay. Well, the nature of my question is usually when we look at projects in general from the outside, there's always a question of, do you really need AI or do you really need blockchain for the project? Does it really help or maybe slow it down? Ryan, do you have your sort of side on enabling blockchain in your platform and what the benefits are?
Of course. So let me just add up a bit on like why we use AI. It's just important when we talk to the practical education, right? Like think about learning, let's say business English. You cannot really like test out how people is good at business English like we do in high school or primary school. It's not something we can do in quiz. And that's why practical AI that evaluates from multiple aspects, let's say how people understand it, etc., is something we really need. So that's the utility of AI. And that's why we're collaborating with our partners who have the specifications on like their expertise on examination AI system or like a language AI, a large language model, etc. Has become so important. Our more details we'll reveal later on. And then we go back to the blockchain, of course. So in terms of blockchain, there are three major parts of the problems that we're trying to solve. And one of the very first one is that how hard it is for educators nowadays to start creating content. So imagine this, right? Like imagine you're a professor in some top unis in Hong Kong or Singapore. You're probably around like 50, 60 years old and you want to start creating content. And you may be very, very good at teaching. You can show that from a profile. But at the same time, no one creates a video for you and no one creates a content for you. You need cost for that. And once you finish the course, go do marketing, etc., etc. So lots of times, these good content creators who knows how to create contents, they don't get specific fundings or like they take all risk of like starting their content business. So what we're essentially doing is that the first problem we're solving is that we're allowing the educators to use our native token AAX, we pronounce it as X, to mint their educator NFTs, which almost opens up an opportunity for the users to invest in the educators itself, and hence the educators themselves can I would say share profit or share risk with those who are interested in their course or who believe in the potential of their course. So that's our very first part, which I believe is a very traditional way that we use Web3. That is, opens up opportunities for people to get fundings in a more efficient way on the web space that Web2 can never done. And the second part is about the free market, really. So our second NFT, as we repetitively highlight, is the learner NFTs. And the learner NFTs is like the access to the educational resources. So basically, with learner NFTs, the users can like purchase or sell their ability to take courses. So basically, imagine like buying courses in a traditional Web2 platform, right? Like a Udemy or Coursera, etc. So you do a one-off payment. Let's say you pay for like $20, $30. You take the first course, and oftentimes you'll find out that they don't really like it. Or like it's not the best, it's not what they expected. There's this difference between what they expect and what actually is there. So in this case, it's one of them. It really just becomes sunk cost, right? But in the Web3 space, we can actually allow this access education to become an NFT and being traded around the learners. And this particular stuff, adding up to the on-chain data, creates really a free market for educational resources. You consume like some kind of token or NFT to learn. If you don't like the courses, you can just give it to someone else and buy the courses you like more. So good courses are value higher, and courses that doesn't really fit in it are value lower. So we're creating a free market that incentivizes better contents in nature. So yeah, I think this is actually what Web3 given to us, a transparent and quality oriented way for the value creation to take place. And I think the final one really is the achievement NFT, so like a proof of the achievement. So before that, I want to tell actually a pretty fun story. So back when I was in high school, I had this economics teacher, and he actually take a fake course on Coursera. It's from Harvard Business School. It's like a PDF file being given to him, but he used that to like show his actual educational proof, and he charges like 1,000 Hong Kong dollars per courses. So basically, I mean, right now in the Web2 space, it's just so hard for us, like average people, or even your HR, to check the actual educational credential. But like Web3 is different; it's immutable and traceable. So with that, there's no way that you can fake your educational proof. It's on chain; everyone can check that. Like there's no way you can just send me a link or send me a PDF to prove that you finished this course. I can just input that kind of public key on the Ether scan, etc., to show that you actually completed the course, and it is recorded by the smart contract for our own smart contract on the Labs. So that's the third thing, the achievement NFTs. And to gain this achievement NFTs, that will lead to our incentive system, which Terry may elaborate further. But yeah, generally that will be our NFT system.
I just want to notify you guys, just in case. I can hear you guys typing once in a while, so it's coming across on the audio. So Ryan, when you were not talking and then you were typing, I could hear like the keyboard. So be careful with that. Yeah. All right. Okay. One thing that I want to ask you three is basically maybe you can share your journey into the creation of an academics lab. Like, why did you guys even bother to get into the space?
Yeah, I think maybe I can just kick off with that. So basically, I'm in the education business for the last probably 10 years. So originally, we actually run a chain of brick and mortar centers in Singapore, education centers. And then we actually encountered COVID-19, right? Where actually we found that running a physical business sometimes has its own challenges in terms of, like during COVID-19, students are not allowed to go to the centers. We have to actually uh, clean up the place, right? Sanitize the place. So there are a lot of challenges during the period. So actually, a lot of learners actually went online to actually learn, right? And therefore, we actually started to actually strategize to move our business online. So and once we got online, we started actually AI tuition application for learners. And then we discovered also there are also some challenges, right? Like incentives and also content ownership among the community. So so just like 1 year ago, we decided that we actually want to merge online business, education business with AI and Web3. That's how academic labs is being conceptualized and born 1 year back. So that's the overall summary of the growth. So since then, we have been picking up the pace. So we have launched our MVP platform. We have built up our communities to about 100,000 on Twitter, and also quite a substantial number on Telegram. We are adding on more substance on the platform, means more videos, more capabilities, right, related to AI and Web3, and we are building the blockchain as well. So far the journey has been fruitful and of course very challenging as well, because we want to make the platform as usable and user friendly for the learners and creators.
Okay. So I think one of the challenges for online learning, I think a lot of data will show, is just people will sign up initially because maybe very good landing page that converts some referral, something like this. But and then once you get it, maybe a lot of students, even though they're very interested, they get very busy and they don't finish their course, or they come back and forth only when they have time, but end up not finishing the course. Do you guys, do any incentives to get people to complete the course, or how do you manage that challenge?
So I mean, also you're definitely right, and I think that's also one of the reasons why we decided to transit the business into online learning and kind of like come up with the Web3 and AI idea. I think there are about 70% of courses out there, online courses out there, are not completed, or at least people attempt after the first hour, they give up. So I think to address that, what we're doing right now is making the learning very easy to absorb in the sense of bite-sized learning. That's one. So the content on a platform is it's relatively short. I wouldn't say it's a full course. Obviously, it's more of like a modular aspect of okay, today I learned something new, maybe a new concept, and then probably I'll get interested in it and I'll develop it further as I create more. So that's one. And then obviously in terms of the incentives, then I like what Terry and Ryan mentioned briefly. We do have our own native tokens that will kind of like reward the users. They accumulate more NFTs as they create more videos or as they accumulate more knowledge on the platform. So it keeps them engaged in the sense that look, if I learn more, I get X amount of tokens or even X number of rewards, which we can translate that into other things as we go along. So I think the hope is that as we build up more partners, then we can of course offer more rewards that are more tangible as well. And that builds up the more increasing engagement for the users or the learners.
Right. So it sounds like you guys are building a partner network to ensure that the content relevance and quality continues to improve over a period of time. Is that correct?
Yeah. So a couple of things. I mean, obviously, the partners is very important to us as fundamentally to build up a community and also, like what you mentioned, to build up the content. But I think Terry will probably touch on also. It's also trying to invite the freelancers. I say the freelancers economy in terms of people who are not part of an institution or who just like to create content or good at teaching, but they just don't know how to market or they don't really know how to present themselves, and they can come onto the platform and potentially earn something. So it's two ways that we're trying to go about this.
Well, I think one of the best ways to learn many times is also being able to teach it. Do you guys
Yes.
envision some type of train the trainer kind of model to improve the learning of experience for the students?
Maybe I
So
can
totally
kick
right.
off some. Can I first? Can I?
You're very right.
Okay, so we have some plans going forward. So we will be conducting actually studios, live studios for content creation. We'll invite freelancers to come attend the studio, right? Teach them how to make videos, short videos. Probably also teach them how to present properly in front of the camera. So these are some of the initiatives that we are trying to launch in the future, right? In terms of getting good content on the platform, reach out to more freelancers to teach them how to make money on our platform, right? So basically producing good videos, helping them to market their videos to more learners so that they can earn some money, right? Because our platform actually charges quite a small fraction of what they earn. So most of the revenue actually goes back to them. So these are the initiatives we are looking to launch. So Kenneth, maybe you want to add on some ideas that we have went through.
Yeah, obviously. So what Terry mentioned is just one aspect of video creation, which I think a lot of the creators out there, they have the creative teach, they have the materials, but they don't know how to create a proper video with flash media, with certain AI tools. They are not so familiar, so they can't present it in a more coherent way. I think that's the initially to give them the training. But I think as a bigger picture, I think we want to follow the kind of the Bloom taxonomy of learning in the sense that first you attain, you learn, you get accustomed to the knowledge, you kind of repeat the knowledge, you get more competency in terms of going depth of content, and that's why I mentioned getting partners, private institutes, or even universities that have more longer content that are specific, let's say a data science course to get you started, and then beyond that, then the next level, obviously at the highest level of the taxonomy of learning, is to reinforces your learning and also brings the learning to other users on the platform itself. So I think there's a couple of aspects. One, how to do the video creation, but I think on the longer spectrum of things, we are looking to build up a content library so that the people get a bit more structured learning in that sense. So now it's bite size, and then we'll build out like more medium term learning, and then obviously higher in depth learning, and then they can come on again to become creators themselves. So it's like a step by step process that we're building up on the platform itself.
Okay. Well, I think on many social media platforms, it's becoming a movement where people who are afraid to be in front of the camera, not very good, they're starting
Yeah.
to use AI avatars.
Yeah.
They train the software for the voice, and they just
Yeah.
need to take some text, throw it in, and basically it produces it. Why are you guys looking at that and using less freelancers, or what do you think?
I think it's a bit of a mix of both. Obviously, some of the freelancers they are good at the content, as I mentioned. They have the materials, and we're open to them. Using the AI as a voiceover or even AI to contribute to create the animation. I think that's just the visuals or the aspects of getting the user engaged, right? But I think for us, it's more of the quality or the depth of content they need to generate and the expertise that they follow through. So obviously there's different type of content, right? I think not all can use animation or AI. If like let's say for us we also focus on instructional videos. Let's say how to create a wallet or how to go into create certain codes. Then you need you can use a voiceover, but you still need someone to present on the screen without using the real animation, right? So that it brings back the knowledge that as a creator you have to apply platform rather than just copy and pasting whatever AI text that you have. I think it's a good mix that we have to balance both the freelancers as well as completely relying on the AI technology that is out there today.
Well, do you believe that that's the future, though? I mean, there's a lot of narrative around the fact that you can create these faceless videos, right?
Yeah, yeah,
With the
yeah,
avatars, but I'm
yeah,
not sure. I mean, I was asking people in my network, would they
yeah,
be open to talking to a KOL, a celebrity,
yeah,
knowing that it's an AI? And many of them said yes. So
yeah,
it made me think, is this the
yeah,
future? We're just talking to machines.
I think there's actually really two aspects about it. So
Hmm.
the very first aspect is about the reducing, I would say reducing I would say the threshold to create educational contents, right? So gotta think about that this that way. Everyone have some knowledge to teach, but not everyone is a good educator. So what's supposed to mean is that you may have knowledge that you accumulated so far. So doing podcast so far, you must have a lot of knowledge on how to create a good episode, how to ask good questions, right? But if you're asked you to immediately teach it on like a university level lecture, I mean, can you immediately think of the script? Maybe you can, if that I'm wrong, but like imagine like it's everyone, then maybe not everyone can do that, right? They have the knowledge on their particular field, but doing it, making an educational content and start generating profit on it is hard. So we can actually complement that from the AI technology there. So think about what Sam Altman said, right? Like AI is not going to replace human. What is it doing? It's actually just increasing productivity. And that's what AI is doing here at the same time, right? You may not be able to you can directly generate questions from AI, right? But as an expert, you know that this question and answer may not be the perfect one to train someone to make fix and trick and fix there. And you're trying to make sure the quality is even better than what AI generated using your own expertise that AI currently don't have. So I think that's the value how it's being created. So that's the first element, really just reducing the threshold for people to share their knowledge, right? To use AI's power to make education something that everyone can be a good teacher. So the second element I think is social. So if you ask me what is the really the best education platform right now, I would say it's an example that everyone should really learn from is definitely Duolingo. It really implements the social elements there. You can see what other people are just asking, creating their own question there. So you're using user-generated content to really build up a really strong community. So I think user-generated content amongst everything. Think about not only education. Think about like other brands like Shein or like platforms like Instagram, etc., user-generated content is the key. So lowering the threshold of creating educational contents here also allows us to create better user-generated content, which in a sense add up to the social elements of the whole platform. So social plus education, I believe, is a more wallet incentives than anything for people to learn and to create content. So we're creating. Think about not only as teacher teaching student, but like I can be teacher, you can be teacher. We teach each others. So this remind me of what's that saying again? Like I give an apple, I have an apple, you have an apple, I give you one, you give me one, we still have one. But I have an idea, you have an idea, we exchange ideas, we both have two ideas. So that's the effect that we almost want to create there.
Okay, no, it makes sense. A lot of sense. So, so far with the launch of your MVP, what has been the typical feedback from users, whether they be challenges or what the requests that are coming through?
Yeah, so I mean, one of the I would say big ones, but one of the comments obviously is based on the content that we have right now. It's more foundational and fundamental. So as I shared, I think we do need to build up that content library. But I think the idea for us back in the MVP is just more for getting the initial feedback and getting the kind of users to be a bit more used to the UX, the UI design, and coming out with other comments that they wish to see on the platform. So I think that's one in terms of the content deepening or the content creation, and obviously the community is also looking out for the other features that we mentioned in terms of like the NFTs that we'll be creating in the next couple of months. So I guess those are the two things, the main things that people are looking out for or have commented so far. So we're trying to work on those.
Okay, so I guess what is the outcome that users are looking to achieve when they come to your platform? So you're saying the information is too foundational or too simple. So what are they looking to achieve? Is it more of a social thing to be able to talk about Web3 in a more sophisticated manner?
I think that's a mix of users. Obviously, one is the or like say the learning, the true learners who want to really come out and be able to be certified or attested to say that okay, I know now today I have a cert in Web3 development after attending a 3-month course on academic labs. I think obviously those people we're not going to ignore, and those are going to be part of the core community, and we hope to work on those. But I think the second aspect is what you rightly mentioned, the author, in terms of that social element, that they want to come and interact and perhaps use it as an interface to come and connect with other learners in the community, to come out with their own forums. So we are also working with a potential partner to create a more interactive way of carrying out the content in that sense, meaning like having say a podcast or a web video embedded, and within this web video or stream they can interact by giving each other gifts, by even coming with polls and quizzes on that portal as well. So it makes it a bit more fun. I think people can comment also when they speak to the creators, or even creating their own networks or creating their own chats in the platform as well. So yeah, two aspects I would say.
So I guess can you walk me through then the process of someone going to your platform and how they interacted? What's the best path, for them to discover and understand how to engage?
Yeah, I think for us right now, because we are running a campaign, kind of like a mini rewards campaign in
Hmm.
conjunction with that launch. So once you log in, then the pop-up appears in terms of participating in the campaign,
Right.
which is what Ryan shared earlier in terms of attending the quizzes. So we do have like a weekly 3 quizzes a week, within this 6 weeks campaign that people can interact with, and we have videos that people can learn and earn points from. So that's the start, and obviously the interface is not too hard to navigate around. There's two major items I would say beyond the campaign. The first is the learner page, whereby you can go in and click and subscribe to courses, which is all free right now. Watch the video. If you stop halfway, then there will be a prompt, or rather the next login. You will kind of see where you left off at, and then you can continue learning. And I think the second aspect is navigating to become a creator, right? And then that takes a bit more, I'll say, playing around in terms of how you create the videos of creating each module, creating its subsection and things like that. But it's not rocket science here. So these are the two features I think we are going for.
Yeah, of course. So just to add up, I think already key important things that we are tackling. I think the hardest thing for all startup at the start of the user acquisition is just to keep the incentives going, to keep giving questions that the users find challenging and creating that kind of sense of achievement when they complete, and to really give out the incentives. I mean, in terms of Web3, a really common method, like what we do, is going to be airdrop. So it's really creating as an educational platform to give that kind of sense of achievement when they're completing the course, and to use airdrop to create that kind of incentive at the start, at the first place. And therefore, we're trying to acquire as much users as possible. So just to give some data, whenever the users finish some kind of courses, some kind of challenges, quizzes, or like they do daily logging, we'll give out some kind of thing we call the campaign points. So each users can get at max around 200 campaign points, and we actually get like around 3 million campaign points already. So that's a lot of users that are engaging with our videos and questions, challenges every day, or like etc. So I think this is really good proof of like giving users sufficient incentive. They feel that they learn something. They feel that they also get something. So I think that would be the key there. Yeah.
Okay. Is it fair to me to say that you guys are targeting users who already have set up a wallet?
No, really. I would say we want to make this like more like for the Web 2.5 users. So of course, if you sell wallet, it's good. You can connect and interact more. You can join the learning incentive system. But if not yet, we're still welcome for any kind of courses and user-generated content. And that's why in the next phase of development, we'll actually open more kind of payment option for courses. And of course, if you use our native token, the whole thing will be more efficient, and you can, I would say, enjoy the platform more as the whole ecosystem is built on the native token. The 3 NFT system plus adaptive AI are somehow built on chain. But at the same time, the part about like if you just want to enjoy the courses and you like the contents here, because all users, so all educators are incentivized by our specific mechanisms, that they can still enjoy the high quality contents through direct payments later on. So we want to welcome as much users as possible. And I think when it comes to Web3, another way is that we can make Web3 really adaptable to a Web2 user in a way that we create wallets for them. So this is a concept we didn't really implement it yet, so don't take this, but like this is something we're considering. Think about like the Coinbase, right? What they do exactly is that they're trying to create a wallet for the users in more Web2 adaptable ways. So that's what we're thinking right now, trying to create something that both Web3 and Web2 users can enjoy. And we're trying to incentivize the users to engage in the community as more as possible. So that, as I said, they can exchange more ideas and really take away some valuable knowledge and skills from the...
Okay. Yeah, because I am looking at your website, and for sure you sign up and it says no further KYC ID checks. But then you can gain access to the weekly draw, so you can participate and start doing some learning. But actually, to get the AAX tokens, you actually have to set up a wallet, or does it? You have a counter somewhere that it still counts how many tokens you've earned, and when you finally set up your wallet, then you actually deliver it. Is that correct?
So basically, we still count the token you gain so far, and then if you want to claim it, you still need the wallet, of course. Else, then we just cannot deliver that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. It's cool. Cool. Yeah. I see you have a video that shows learn more about AAX. Maybe you can have another video that shows them how to set up a wallet.
Oh, that could be a good idea.
We're actually working on it right now, actually. Yeah. So
yeah. Or like you said, if you found a very simple way for the wallet to already be connected to the account, that'd be great as well. Yeah.
I think we're actually collaborating with someone who will create videos about how to use MetaMask and mint NFT extra for the beginners. So yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
I think to add on to what Arthur has asked, in the future plans will include wallets being actually set up for the users in the system itself, so they do not need to connect external wallets. So that's the plan in the future,
Yeah. I mean, if I always have this discussion around the BTC ETF and why people think it's so exciting, besides the fact that there will be more liquidity into this one commodity. But, the Web2 people, they don't care. They don't need a wallet. They go through Fidelity or, the ones at Grayscale. So usually the Web2 people, if you want to call them, they don't have to worry about it. And I'm kind of thinking maybe truly for mass adoption, it might start going that way where the wallets are already set up and you just connect accounts together somehow, right? And then when you start going to do like, digital identity, self-sovereign identity, this type of things, then maybe it's not going to matter anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, up to today, right? If you look on the internet, I think 96% of the global population are still not so well versed in crypto. So it's our mission to actually bridge them across to Web3. So we'll have like foundation courses like how to set up a wallet and things like that. But in the future, it should be easy for them to just sign up, and then we have the wallets in the system itself, so they do not need to actually go through this.
Okay. Well, do you guys face any constraints around the regulatory landscape with your product? I guess I can't think of any. Is there anything you guys need to make sure that you comply when it comes to maybe data protection, data privacy?
So if you take a look at where our core members are located, Singapore, Hong Kong, we actually do have some kind of regulations that we need to definitely deal with. So that's why we're actually talking with a lot of legal experts to make sure everything is perfectly following the local regulation system as well as the consistent political change due to the how this two country actually place a great focus on Web3. So yeah, of course, we got to deal with some kind of regulatory barrier, especially in the nature of the token we're offering, or in the sense that how we are going to make sure that the data is secure. And that's why auditing firms, collaborative auditing firms, etc., and getting essential license is also quite important for us. And we're also going to work on it before the TGE and trying to get everything sorted out and that our user is secure, which I think is the most important thing ever.
Okay. Yeah, and I think just to add on also, I think of course, obviously the PDPA laws here are fairly stringent in Singapore and Hong Kong. But I think for us as an education platform, we are not taking any sensitive data, as I would say. So in terms of that, we are quite careful and mindful to adhere to such rules and guidelines.
Okay. So let me ask this question, because with the recent funding that you guys received, how are you going to spend it? What's the focus on building academics labs?
I think the first and foremost is product development, which actually costs quite a lot of capital, right? And then of course marketing expenses, because we want to reach out to more creators and learners lah. So, and these are the two major expenses that we are going to budget for. And then the last is of course for our CEX listing costs, right? So these are the three main areas.
Yeah. So for the creators, what markets are you trying to pull from? Everywhere, or are you looking at specific markets?
There's no specific market that we are targeting. We are, again, as an education platform, in a sense we are global, but to put into perspective our current users or the demographics of where we are at right now, Southeast Asia is key. Vietnam is one of our biggest market. Indonesia as well. They're trying to build up the South Korea market. And we do have a small community in Nigeria. I say local community traction, and that's where the budgeting will be set into place to create local teams to build up that kind of local communities, and naturally they will focus on the larger global community that we're also building.
Okay, so I guess the fact that you're hitting multiple markets with different language conditions. Well, do you use AI to then do translations of the content, maybe to make it easier for everyone? In translating subtitles and whatnot?
I think that's a good point. And again, we have not gone into that in terms of the AI translation, but we also encourage local partners to come up with content within their local language. Obviously, I think that makes it easier for them to connect and communicate. Of course, it's best if they can do subtitles, but if not, then we also know that it's a good way of getting connecting the local community there. So we encourage all forms of languages to come on platform. In fact, we do have one content right now that's I think in Spanish.
All right. Do you guys find it difficult to find developers, technical talent in APAC? I mean, I hear Vietnam become a big development hub. I guess like Shenzhen, obviously, there's a lot of people there. That's affordable. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I think Asia is definitely an increasing place to look at for tech talents. Compared to the rest of the saturated market. So it's definitely a good place to start. And I think the cost perspective, it's increasing, but I would say it's still more reasonable than those in developed countries that we initially talked to. So yeah, it's a good starting point. I think the countries that you point out are as well.
Okay. Well, we've reached about 45 minutes on our podcast, and I guess I'll ask each one of you, I guess, a question, or any of you can answer. And basically, it's like, just give your perspective where you think AI and blockchain will play in education beyond what you see today. So it's future looking. How will AI and blockchain be used in education for something that's maybe too early to realize today?
I think increasingly becoming very important for both AI and Web3, especially the last 2 years. And this year it has been picking up, right? So we can see Bitcoin increasing again, 43K. We can see a lot of new AI startups coming about. So I think it's just the beginning, and we hope to catch the wave, to start early and start development, right? Because I think for the next 10 to 20 years, this will be very important in the daily life, especially in education, right? Especially using AI to learn is becoming very common. Everyone uses ChatGPT to find out stuff, learn stuff, creating things, right? It's just and also we also know that having a Web3 will actually using the blockchain to record transactions, more like getting real ownership of creation of education content. These are very important topics that we actually think about and try how to actually produce goods and products and services to actually help the economy.
Okay.
Yeah. I think for me, I believe in spatial learning. I think that's something that will come up and play in the next 5 to 8 years, whereby you kind of like put on a goggles. Now Apple has the Apple Vision and whatnot. You immerse yourself into a digital classroom. Everything's virtual. You can interact with certain elements. You've been blending the reality with what's in the virtual space, and that is something that will be a bit, I guess, more far-fetched, but spatial learning, which is also part of, it ties in with Web3 because you can interact in the environment, or you can even handle transactions while you're wearing that immerse in the platform, with in a Web3 way, right? Transferring your tokens or making transactions over blockchain. And then I think another aspect, like what Terry mentioned, is more of AI learning, and I think AI learning in terms of robots. I guess you can say that in the future, it's not to say that teachers will be replaced, but in terms of more factual learning or baseline knowledge, then will be generated by AI text or even robots. Right now, even we are using ChatGPT or ChatGPT 4 right now. Beyond that, it can be even certain functions of machines to help that, and I think the teachers are there just to enable the classroom, or rather to give a more emotional support. So I think in terms of knowledge preservation or knowledge impartation, then the AI element comes in very strongly. One, to create a more immersive environment, and also to kind of generate the content for the learners in the future.
So when I pitch to investors or partners, etc., I think one question that they always ask is why Web3, right? Why web education, particularly on chain? And I think we gotta use first principle thinking here. Like, think back to what is Web3, and I think one simple answer is that it carries value. It carries value on the internet, which Web2 never did. And I think this is actually something that's quite natural, particularly in the education field. Like video games, not really. Content creation, there may be emotional values, but educational content, especially professional knowledge, is like almost an investment. It's an investment to yourself. No one can deny that. So there's a value carried itself in the educational content, which is not yet fully realized in the Web2 field, considering the intransparency in the market, the one-off payment, the whole issue about the management system of the platform. So I think Web3 it has its natural value, its natural mechanism that just suit the educational market. And I think that's why I think education being on Web3 is going to be a trend almost due to how aligned it can be in terms of the nature of education and the nature of Web3 and how they essentially align together. And I think the same idea applies for AI, right? Like AI, again, is something that increases the efficiency and effectiveness of human beings a lot. The same for educational resources. Educational resource is something that we're looking for to use it as some way to train ourselves. And I would say being able to create educational resources, being to be able to learn with AI is actually the best way for people to learn in the AI age, to create values that AI cannot create. So let me put it this way. So at this point, like humans add our own understandings of knowledge and skills upon what we learn. AI help us learn faster, and that with those knowledge and our own thoughts, we won't be able to replace by AI. I think that's the key right here. So education and AI, or education plus Web3, I think there is a natural match there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think with the advent of AI, for sure, it is proven, or along with blockchain, to disrupt a lot faster than any other technology that we've had before. And I think the one thing about technology we always know is developed by humans, and there is a time and place for this technology. It only can take you so far. But I believe if you look at the financial services market, especially with the Bitcoin ETF and how AI can start looking for alpha, if you think about it, what is the value of the people behind it, including teachers? So I think over a period of time, yes, the speed to learn will be faster, but I think that last mile, the last like 10%, is probably going to be owned by humans. This is my thinking. Yeah.
It has to be, yeah. It has to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. We always believe that AI is an enabler. I think right now you can see certain learning models whereby you can scan the retina of the students and you can see their level of concentration and whether they are absorbing knowledge faster. That's in that sense an enabler. But like what you mentioned, I think pretty much the end, and I think I shared also in terms of like emotional aspect of teaching, then the teacher or human has to come into place, right? It cannot be just very much automated. I think everybody still understands that, or rather it's critical to note that we're not going to be replaced. It's just going to speed up the way or the speed of our absorption of knowledge.
Right. There was this one story, I forgot which university, but some university had teachers complained about many papers being turned in that is clearly written by AI. And then they changed the rules like, okay, you have to come to class, no connection to the internet to access AI. And then you have to write your paper or type your paper in class, which is a quick fix, but it's not the ultimate solution. Yeah.
Yeah, just going back a step, but it's interesting. Right?
It is interesting.
So how do we go? It's important.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you, all of you, for joining the podcast, and it was a great conversation. And I, good luck to your next phase of onboarding both content creators and learners to your platform.
Thank you, Arthur.
Thank you very much, Arthur. That's definitely
Thank you so much.
honor.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Good luck to the Startup Voyage also.
Hey, so that concludes this episode of the Startup Voyage podcast. I would like to thank all of you for listening to this episode, and I'd really appreciate it if you leave any type of comments that you'd like to share, because it helps to feedback on how I deliver these podcasts.